All right, welcome to Business Express for a Tuesday morning, discussing all the big economic policies of some of Nigeria's, presidential candidates, with particular focus on the Labour Party today. Rotus is in with us for a Tuesday. Good morning, Rotus.
Hey, good morning, Victor. Good morning, Shokwe. Good morning to all our listeners, viewers. So yeah, he did an article when he spoke to LCCI. So finally, Peter Obi has spoken to LCCI. So we might as well continue the trend of discussing their plans.
Oh, we definitely need to. I'm looking forward to what Tinubu has to say. So what happened yesterday? What were the highlights? What were the things that got your blood pumping? What made you sit up and think, okay, I'm listening?
Well, let's see now. Peter Obi spoke for about a couple hours and took questions from panelists and written questions from the audience on a variety of issues. He first of all said that government is behind the oil thefts that we are seeing right now because it's something that should have been stopped easily. But the fact that it has not been stopped means that it's government that is behind it. Also said that
we see how easy it has been to stop in other countries. Just
exactly
real easy.
Yeah, straightforward. I mean, how does a massive tanker of oil just or crude oil just leave the shores of a country and nobody sees it? So then he also spoke about hold on. So on power, he said he will liberalize let's start from there. On power, he said he will liberalize the transmission parts of it, the generation parts and the distribution parts of power, as far as the value chain is concerned. Those are privatized, right? You've got the GenCos and then you've got the DISCos. But in the middle, the transmission, which is where there's a problem, the Transmission Corporation of Nigeria, that's under the government. He says he will move that and privatize that. Improve gas to power. Well, on the GenCo side, he didn't say anything about pricing, but I assume that if it's privatized, then the subsidy on power is going to be removed. So tariffs will probably go up, but that's to improve power supply. He also spoke about underutilized assets. I think it was Doing Salami who wrote a report about a year or two ago saying that Nigeria's debt assets amount to about 900 million naira, maybe almost, maybe almost a trillion, or 900 billion, I think. It was 900 billion, he said. And so he said that Peter Obi said he will set up an asset registry to review the assets that we have that are underutilized and whether they can be sold or put to proper use. He kept emphasizing production over consumption. Ayo Teriba, who is an economist and he heads the economic and statistics team at the LCC, at the Lagos Chamber of Commerce. He asked him about revenue generation. Of course, subsidies came up, saying we're spending almost 6 trillion next year on subsidies. And then also on duties, tax waivers and tax and duty waivers that are given to corporations, hopefully in return for them to either build a road or provide some sort of service that benefits us. According to Ayo Teriba, that's almost another 6 trillion where we're giving tax waivers and so on to companies and we're not getting it back. So Peter Obi said he will review that and you would only get a tax or duty waiver if the service or item that you are providing, it benefits people. He was asked about women in government, whether he would have any in his administration. He now listed all the positions that women held while he was governor of Anambra State and said that would happen. Said he would address the ports, number of issues. But I think the big thing was just him boldly, calling out these major issues that we're facing and saying, he also saw fuel subsidies, said that's organized crime. And that's, he also said that, well, insecurity is going to be his number one focus once he gets in office. Because he said, if you reduce insecurity, you allow farmers to go back to the farms, that will improve food supply and bring down food inflation. The exchange rate, he also said the exchange rate, what we're seeing is fiscal recklessness, the amount of money printing that's going on. He says if you reduce that and also, address a number of fiscal issues, remove the fuel, stop the fuel subsidies, you will have a more stable exchange rate. Interesting enough, he also said that we need more modular refineries, but that they should be sold crude oil in naira. And then he also talked about the dollarization of the Nigerian economy, saying that, yeah, in real estate and all these other sectors, we should, no more paying for dollars and things, you pay for them in naira. But that crude oil part was pretty interesting because crude is, of course, priced in dollars. And well, we are a crude producer. So he's saying that we would, bring the crude out of the ground and then sell it in naira to the refineries. It'll be interesting to see, for instance, the Dangote refinery that is hopefully coming on stream next year, whether that would be something that, he would agree to with respect to this country. So oil insecurity was his number one thing. That was like, that is what is impacting investment and impacting everything else in the country.
And I love that he talked about multi-level policing with regards to insecurity as well.
Thanks for reminding me. He mentioned, he said, what was the example he said, that there's kidnappings and people negotiate with kids. He said technology should aid multi-level policing at every level, federal, state, and community level. And he said that's what he would use in his administration. He said, okay, how is it that somebody gets kidnapped? You now pick up the phone and you're negotiating with the kidnappers, and you don't know who that person is based on the phone number that they're using. Or sometimes a kidnapped person will get sick. They'll go and get a doctor to come and treat them or look after them, and police don't know who they are. So it was like that. So he really hammered on insecurity. That was something that he just kept hammering on over and over again. He said the security apparatus in Nigeria, as president, he would overhaul the entire thing. And that once you settle that thing, I mean, look, we talked about movies yesterday, right? And how tourists in South Africa are safe. And that's why Hollywood keeps going there. So insecurity is something that's keeping away investments from the country. So power, insecurity, the exchange rates, a number of issues. He touched on a number of them. And it was pretty interactive, took questions and so on and so forth. So credit to the LCCI, I hope they did also address the fact that a lot of people are saying that they are only focusing on the main candidates and that they should give other people a chance in order to figure out their plans. So they said they'll try and look at that, but they just want to focus on the people who have the best chance of winning and find out what plans they have for the country. So look, it's whoever wins, they're going to be facing debt. He also talked about debts as well. How debt
borrowing for investments, right?
Right, rather than borrowing for consumption and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's really good to hear the candidates one-on-one. Oh yeah, another thing, he also spoke about the fact that he didn't have a written manifesto. So people have been coming after him saying that, well, he doesn't have like a PowerPoint slide or something that, because when Atiku gave his presentation, Atiku had something that's, he had the full slides and he had a presentation and everything. Well, Obi said, listen, that it's easy for him to just go and get economists and so on to write down things on paper, that he wants to actually speak to people directly. They should take, and he's like, look, everybody here that's listening to me, they are taking what I'm saying. So I can't go back on what I'm saying. I want to just talk directly to people. And yeah, that was essentially his presentation. But the main takeaway from it, if you ask what did he really hammer on, he said from day one, insecurity is what he wants to address, and then everything else will fall into place. He also said it's very important for a candidate to have integrity. He made the point that, listen, if foreign investors see that you are somebody who hasn't embezzled money, you are somebody who is of integrity, he was like, look, there's a lot of money floating around the world. He was like, they'll throw money at you. Just show foreign investors that you are someone of integrity, somebody who has managed funds well, no corruption scandals and blah, 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 and that things will work out. So that was his
business really does rest on good faith as well.
Yeah, it does. It's pretty important, All so,
right.
Yeah.
Let me read this message from Ogene Ochuko, who says the Labour Party presidential candidate, Dr. Peter Obi, has his credibility, credentials, and character as an edge over other candidates in the race. Nigeria needs him more than he needs Nigeria. Okay, that's an interesting one.
Very interesting.
Sending messages to 0809 440 981. All right, back to you, Rotus.
Yeah, so look, I mean, just to emphasize the kind of issues we're facing, just yesterday, or was it the day before yesterday, the International Monetary Fund again harped on Nigeria raising revenues. That also came up yesterday in Peter Obi's chat with the LCCI, how we're just not generating enough revenue. I mean, oil theft came up and so on and so forth. I think there's a senator in the National Assembly whose name, I think it's Saliu Musa. Yeah, he's the chair of the Committee on Senate Services. He said that the Senate might look at rejigging the budget in order to try to increase the targets for ministries, departments, and agencies in order to raise revenue. I don't know if that's going to work but it just shows you the challenges that the nation has in terms of trying to make more money. That has been a really, really big thing. So we have personal finance on this show. We talk about how people can get wealthy either by raising your money you make, by having side gigs or increasing your salary, or cutting your costs and reducing how much you're spending. So that's the issue that Nigeria faces right now. And that was even this happened before Peter Obi's chat yesterday. So yeah, see, lights is another problem, obviously. So these are the things that we've been facing in this nation that we have to sort out.
Well, just to end the show, Roses, let me read a couple more messages. Benga Kamu says, Obi should have a manifesto. Without that, it is easy for the candidates to deny someone the things they say, whether recorded or not. Whilst Engineer Ori says, these engagements, in my view, don't have much depth. I will do this, I will do that, but there is no emphasis on the how. You will improve security. How will you do it? How? He puts with 3 question marks. Not just sound bites. You should also have a blueprint and not just resounding the same old gist. We've got another one in from Prince.
And Prince is saying, I've never seen any candidate, either governorship or presidential, in this country without good plans since 1999. But when they get there, it's another ball game entirely.
All right. And yeah, well, we've come to the end of the show, but not the end of goodness, right? There's something that we can give you, and I'm loving this, because a Business Express today was brought to you by Nairametrics. Nairametrics is looking to give you something, and you can follow them on all social media platforms at Nairametrics, and also subscribe to their premium Stock Select newsletter, which is a weekly stock guide written by Ugodre on local and international best performing stocks in order to guide investors and just basically help you guys figure out what to buy, sell, and hold. And because you are a Business Express listener or viewer up on YouTube, guys, all you need to do to get this 30% discount that all of our listeners and viewers can get from the newsletter is visit ss.nairametrics.com/coupon and enter the promo code SMOOTHFM to get your 30% discount. Voila.
All right. Great stuff. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, let's do this again tomorrow at 6:30 when it's time for Business Express. Let's keep the conversation going on Twitter at Rotan Quote and at Smooth 981 FM. My name is Pep.